Hi guys, I'm back again today. I know I've been MIA on Friday, but anyways, we are back and today we're checking out 15 best places to visit in the Netherlands. Okay, so before we do start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's find out. Have we not done this? I don't think so. Maybe it was Germany that we did, huh? Anyways, let's get it.
Everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you what I recommend visiting in the Netherlands from north to south. I will only talk about the places that I've been personally and my favorite ones. So I can only imagine that there are some other hidden gems that I will not be mentioning, but please let us know in the comment section. Okay, so let's start with Tessel. Tessel is the biggest island and I've been there in 2020 during Corona time. It was very good because there were not a lot of tourists, so I could enjoy much more the nature, but I could not go to the local shops and the restaurants are closed or there was only takeaway option. So I cannot really give an opinion about the restaurants and the local commerce, but I can say if you are looking for an opportunity to get out of the city and to breathe some fresh air, Tessel is one of your options. In my opinion, the best way to visit Tessel is by cycling. It is about 20 kilometers length and 8 kilometers width, so it is possible to visit in a couple of days by cycling, but it can get very windy.
Oh, wow.
So what happened with me is that we cycled several kilometers away from our rental house, and then when I wanted to come back there was headwind very strong and I just did not have the strength to cycle towards our home. So my husband had to pull me all the way in order for us to make on time home. If it is very windy and if you have the opportunity to rent an e-bike, just do it, because then you can visit much more comfortably and you do not have the risk to stay stuck. You have these very wide sandy beaches and you have these beautiful and cute local villages to visit as well. Next we have Giethoorn. I think I've been here at least 2 times and I noticed that usually the Dutch say that this is a way to touristic village, but I really do not mind because I've never seen a place like this before. Giethoorn is a small village which is completely car free, so you can only get around by walking, cycling, by boat or with a canoe, and it has these beautiful houses that are set up in islands that are connected to the mainland, and I think there are about 176 bridges that connect the houses to the mainland, and it just gives this beautiful and unique scenery. It's like you are in a fairy tale. Even though it is a car-free zone, there are several parking places outside of the village and there are so many local restaurants and local shops to visit and many rental boat companies. And actually my favorite activity to do in this village is to rent a boat with my friends and just explore the different canals and to just enjoy the beautiful houses, and everything is so well maintained. The gardens are so well maintained, the houses, it's just everything is so beautiful to look at. And it has this huge lake as well. In the summer it is very nice because you see a lot of activities happening, so children playing in the water, sailing boats, and there is this small island in the middle of the lake where you can buy some ice cream. So it is a very nice and different activity. And at the end of this video I will share with you a video that my sister recorded when we were doing our boat route, and it is about the family that is in front of us. It is very funny and it is an example of not to do when you rent a boat in Giethoorn. Another place is Zaanse Schans. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this correctly, apologies if I'm not, but this is another place that usually the Dutch say it's way too touristic, but I really enjoyed for a day trip. I actually went from Amsterdam to Zaanse Schans by cycling and it was about 1.5 hours. I really like the route there. And in Zaanse Schans you have a unique landscape with these industrial mills. You can even visit the inside of one of the mills, and then you also have a small area that has these wooden buildings with craft shops inside. You have some restaurants and you have beautiful terraces where you can, at the end of your visit, just relax and eat something, drink something just next to the river Zaanse. It is another place that is very close to Amsterdam where you can see the industrial windmills. Next we have Haarlem. I've been to Haarlem a couple of times. It is just 15 minutes by train from Amsterdam, and it is just beautiful city just to walk around and look at. It has these monumental historical buildings, it has countless of restaurants and cute cafes, old squares, and there is also the Museum of Renshaus, one of the great Dutch masters. But it was actually during the Christmas season that I was the most impressed with Haarlem, because Haarlem hosts the biggest Christmas market in the Netherlands, and there are these hundreds of stalls just outside the main square and in the main square with food and different crafts. There are orchestras and choirs. It just gives you a beautiful environment of the Christmas season, although it can get very crowded. Next we have Amsterdam, and I could make a very lengthy video just dedicated to Amsterdam. I lived there for 2 years, and it is a city with so much to do. I will start with my favorite activity, which is, and I think this applies to the majority of the cities in the Netherlands, it's just to walk around in the city center. I love to see the canals, so I recommend to walk around in the Negenstraat, the Night Streets neighborhood, and in the Jorden neighborhood. Those for me are the most beautiful. Usually I like to take my guests to the Stalmeestersbrug, which is a bridge with a beautiful view to the canal. And from this bridge, if you walk towards the Amstel River, there is also a very nice spot to take some pictures. The background actually reminds me the dancing houses scenery, but with much less tourists. For me, doing a boat tour is a must. Amsterdam has so many canals around the city, and you can really go through the city center and see the majority of city center through a boat. So I think this is the city where you can experience that. I did some boat tours with guided tours, so where you are in these big boats with several other tourists inside. And to be honest, you learn a lot in these guided tours. There are so many facts that they share with you that you will not have found in touristic books or if you just explore the city by yourself. I did that once, but I think my favorite thing to do now is to just rent a boat by myself with some friends, and we can just go around with the boat, very chilled. Well, sometimes it can be very crowded if it is very sunny, and if it is warm weather, a lot of people get their boats out in the canals, and some accidents might happen, but still I think it is a very good activity to do. Next, I recommend to visit the neighborhood called The Pipe, and in The Pipe there is a great street market which is called the Albert Kalp Market, so it's called after one of the other Dutch masters. And in here you have several stalls with traditional food, normal food, and with other items as well. But what I like to do most here is to eat the typical Dutch snacks, so the stroopwafels and the poffertjes, which are very small fluffy pancakes, and they cook in front of you, so when you eat they are very warm and yummy. And then you can also eat, for example, the herring, which is a raw fish with onion that it is very typical in the Netherlands. In regards to museums, my favorite ones are the Hague Museum, where you can see works from Rembrandt, Van Gogh, and Vermeer. There is also the Anne Frank House, and for me this is really a must to visit, because you can really see with your own eyes what this family has been through and what was happening to families like them during the Second World War. And you get to learn a lot about the Second World War as well. But it was in the Hermitage Museum of Amsterdam that, through the classical art exhibitions that they have there, that I got to learn a lot about the Dutch society back then. And you can see a lot of traces in the behaviors and culture of Dutch society today. Lastly, my favorite thing to do in Amsterdam, and this can come as a shock for so many because there are so many other things to do that are quite unique in Amsterdam, is to go to Amsterdam's Bos. And this is a wood that is about 20 minutes cycling from the city center of Amsterdam, but it is such a massive park or woods, a massive place only with nature. And it is interesting because I usually take my guests there as well, and it is one of the favorite parts of the visit
So
of
beautiful.
Amsterdam. I don't know if it is because people are not expecting to experience that so close to a capital, but they really enjoy it. There is a small goat farm in the middle of it. I think this is more targeted to children, but we all like it anyway, with different farm animals, and you can feed the goats and you can drink some coffee and eat some of their cheeses. So it is a very nice and unique experience as well. Next we have
That is so
Apeldoorn,
neat.
and in Apeldoorn you can visit the Palace Het Flow, and I visited in May this year, so just after the renovation, and you can see how beautifully they have done in order for people to have a much better experience when visiting this palace. And the royal family lived in this palace, so you learn a lot about the history of the Dutch royal family and also the history of the Netherlands. What I really like about this visit is that they have several audio tours throughout the palace, and they are very interactive and entertaining in a way. When you walk into the room, they really tell the story about the objects that we are seeing, the decoration, and what was the room used for. So it was not the typical audio tour, but they really add some entertaining content there. And if you go to Apeldoorn, you cannot miss the Veluwe. The Veluwe is the biggest national park in the Netherlands, and it is so diverse in terms of wildlife. You can see wild boars, wild deers, if you are lucky, of course. And I heard that there are also some wolves. And it's also very diverse in terms of scenery. You can either have very dense forests and also sand drifts as well. So I think it is very interesting, and it is very easy park to visit with a bicycle. And if you are there and if you like art, do not miss the Kröller-Müller Museum. It is a museum with a smaller exhibition versus the museums that I recommended earlier. But it has works from Rembrandt, it has works from Picasso and Peter Mondrian. You get some bicycles for free and you can explore the surroundings and the nature. And it was actually in this area that I saw the wild deers and the boars, and they have these small wooden cabins, so they just stay nearby and you can just relax and enjoy whatever they are doing. Then you have Lisse, and if you happen to be in the Netherlands between mid of April and mid of May, I really recommend you to go to Lisse, one of the regions where they cultivate these bulb flowers, such as the Dutch tulip, and it is amazing to see this sea of colorful tulips. They have very much bright colors, like they have pinkish, red, yellow, purple, white. It is beautiful to see this rainbow of tulips. In Lisse there is
purple
also the
one, but
Keukenhof,
okay.
and I've been there, but to be honest, I felt a little bit of a tourist trap. I've been there in May. Maybe the garden was not as beautiful as it used to be, but what I felt like was, okay, I'm paying here 20 to 25 euros to see another beautiful garden, while next to it I have these amazing, huge tulip fields that I can see for free. And I think the tulip fields are something that I don't get to see in other countries, while beautiful gardens, a lot of countries have them. So if you have to prioritize in terms of time, I recommend you to stick to the tulip fields. And if you can rent a bicycle to cycle around and see the different colors, I recommend you to do that. Then we have Leiden, which is a student city with the oldest university in the Netherlands, and I recommend this city to go for a day trip. It is a city also full of canals. It has about 90 bridges connecting between the canals, and I really like to, again, walk around in the city center and see these beautiful historic buildings. It has several restaurants and cafes with amazing terraces where you can just enjoy an afternoon. Then we have Utrecht, and if you think Amsterdam is beautiful, Utrecht tops Amsterdam in my opinion. Utrecht is like
Utrecht.
a medieval
Okay, I'm
city
moving.
in the modern context. And it has these unique canals. While in Amsterdam you are walking above water level, in Utrecht you can actually go down the stairs and be inside of the canal on water level. And they have several terraces and you can just walk around next to the water, and I really like to be having dinner or having a coffee next to the water, especially when it is good weather. You see a lot of boats passing by. It is very entertaining and a unique experience. In Utrecht, you also have the Dome Tower, which is the tallest church in the Netherlands. And when the sky is clear, you can actually spot Amsterdam from it. It has been under renovation for a really long time. I believe the renovation will be over by 2024. I think by now you can go to the top anyway and see. I think the top is complete and see the view from there. It is a very nice experience because in the Netherlands, everything is flat, so you get to see the cities that are very far away from Utrecht. Utrecht also has much less tourists, so you feel like that you are much more blended with the locals, and it has these beautiful Dutch buildings. I believe 40 minutes by car from the city center of Utrecht, you also have the Kasteel de Haar, which is the biggest castle in the Netherlands. You can visit the inside and you can visit the gardens. I recommend you to go there as well. Then we have The Hague, and The Hague is the country's administrative center. It is where the government is based, and I really like to come here, especially when it is good weather, on sunny days, to go to the beach. They have this very extensive beach, and next to the beach they have these very nice beach clubs that I like to be in, and it was actually in this beach that I saw the most beautiful pinkish sunset ever. The Hague also has these very nice squares in the city center with several cafes and restaurants to choose on, but it is actually in The Hague that right now my favorite museum is. It is the Maurits House, just next to the government building. And I really like this museum because first they have amazing exhibition. They have works from Rembrandt and Vermeer, and it is here that you can see the very famous girl with the pearl earring. And it is like a very cozy museum, so you enter and it really feels like you are in a house that is very well decorated with these works of art. And it does not have as many tourists when I compare, for example, with the Rijksmuseum, which is usually very crowded. So I really like my experience here. And if you are in The Hague, I recommend you to visit the Kering House, which is a place that is 30 minutes, I think, by car from The Hague. And here you get to see this amazing defense system that they have in order to protect the south of Holland from flooding. So you can actually get to see how it works and get to learn more about it and get to learn more about the flooding history in the Netherlands. I think it is a very interesting one to visit, and it is not very popular because not many people, even the Dutch, know that the Kering House exists. Then we have Gouda, which is very famous for its Gouda cheese. Here you get to learn a lot about the history of this cheese, but it is not all about the cheese here. You have this beautiful small city center with this monumental town hall in the middle of the marketplace, and here in the marketplace is where they used to trade the cheese, and even today they do this trade of the cheese. And you have also the amazing stroopwafels. It was here that I ate one of the best stroopwafels ever. It was in
Gouda is gonna be my favorite because first and foremost you have cheese, like Rookie and cheese are like best friends, and then you have the stroop waffles, right? I can't speak. I'm sold. I am literally sold. And I'm not gonna be the person, right? I'm not gonna be that girl who's like, oh no, it's not Gouda cheese. Okay, I'm not gonna be. I'm still gonna call it Gouda. I'm so sorry because I don't want to be that girl who is, you think you know it all. I'm just like, hey, you know what? Let me bust my mistake. I'm not perfect, and I'm not gonna correct you.
It's a very small factory that sits in the main square of Gouda, and you get to enter and see for yourself the whole production process of stroopwafels, and of course eat a lot of stroopwafels. So moving on to Valkenburg, I've been here once in my life, and it was during the Christmas season, and this is because Valkenburg turns into a Christmas town between the mid of November and January. And it is a very unique experience because they have the biggest underground Christmas market in Europe. So you basically enter in a system of tunnels and caves that they have there. And there are several stalls in these tunnels, and there are even restaurants and cafes. So it is a very different experience in terms of Christmas market. And the town itself, it's fully decorated for Christmas context, and it's just a very nice, cozy feeling. And you get to feel the Christmas energy. I really enjoy to be here, and it is a unique experience. So if you are in Christmas, visit Valkenburg as well. Lastly, we have Maastricht, and we are ending this video where it all started for me. Maastricht was the first city that I visited in the Netherlands because I did my exchange program here in 2014. Maastricht is also a university city, and it's just beautiful. You can just explore it by walking, and you just walk around every corner, every square that you see. It's just so well maintained with these historic buildings. And one of the things that I remember the most are the countless restaurants with these beautiful terraces, very cozy with heaters and
the beer is so interesting. I see it here, the Heineken beer. Very, very fascinating. Okay, now if my friends, okay, I'm not gonna be that girl though, but I'm gonna be like, hey, did you know that Heineken is Dutch? And they're gonna be like, no, you liar, you fudging liar. And I'm like, hey, it's true, Google it. They're gonna be like, what? So all along we were sitting here thinking it was German. So thank you to these reaction videos we learn something, so we don't get our head cut off when we go to Germany or Netherlands and say, hey, why is... Anyways, thank you guys for letting me know. That's very interesting, okay? Because I was like, how many years old then that I found out this, right? After all these years.
With these historic buildings, and one of the things that I remember the most are the countless restaurants with these beautiful terraces, very cozy with heaters and blankets. It gives just a very cozy feeling, and I really just enjoy walking around, eat some waffles with chocolate, and go to the main square right off and eat these delicious mussels that they have. It has also one of the most beautiful bookstores, in my opinion, which is in the bookshop Dominicans, and it is a bookshop inside of a church.
Oh,
it is
interesting.
Very impressive. And of course, Maastricht, it has still several fortifications around the city, and the small curiosity is that it was in Maastricht that one of the most famous Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan, was murdered during the battlefield. Another activity to do in Maastricht is also to visit the Maastricht Underground, which is again this system of tunnels and caves that were used by the population when they were being attacked by foreign occupancies. It is very interesting to see how they live during this time. It's like a maze inside. I remember in the tour, you go with a small group, with a tour guide, of course, and they let you to experience what it feels like to be in complete darkness.
Oh, no, thank you.
And it is very difficult nowadays to find a place where you feel in complete darkness, not even a millimeter of light coming in. What starts to happen is that your brain starts to imagine some figures popping up in the dark, and you lose the complete sense of orientation that you have. I hope it's not weird that I really like to visit underground systems and tunnels and caves. But just after the visit, next to it, there is a chalet where you get to eat, in my opinion, the most delicious onion soup. And these are my main recommendations to visit in the Netherlands for now. Please let me know what other hidden gems I missed in this video, and let me know what is your opinion in regards to any of the places that I mentioned here. And as promised, I'm going to share now with you the video that my sister recorded of this family in Giethoorn riding their boat. It is very funny, and I don't know if you get to see in this video, but the family in the boat was completely unbothered by the driving skills of their driver. And enjoy the video, and I will see you in the next video.
He's drunk, and that was fast forwarded, but if it was slowed down, it probably will be. It's still like you can see it's clearly going from one edge to the other, instead of like, you know, hey, maybe he just wanted some fun, you know, like just sailing straight can be boring. So maybe he was like, hey, if there's kids here, do you want me to swerve left and right? And the kids were like, yeah. So maybe that's why he did it, you know. Sometimes we just don't know what's happening, what's going on in other people's conversations for us to judge. But yeah, that was so funny. But thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.